Okay, let's go.
Imagine being born a slave. Your body doesn't belong to you. Your time doesn't belong to you. Your very life doesn't belong to you. Now imagine, from that position, becoming one of the most influential philosophers in human history. This is the story of Epictetus, a man who had nothing, owned nothing, controlled nothing, yet discovered the secret to ultimate freedom. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, kept Epictetus's teachings by his bedside. Today, 2,000 years later, his philosophy still changes lives. How did a crippled slave become the teacher of emperors? Let's find out. Chapter 1. The Chains That Couldn't Break Him. Epictetus was born around 50 AD in Hierapolis, modern-day Turkey. He was born into slavery. His name, Epictetus, literally means acquired one, a name given to property, not people. He was sold to Epaphroditus, a wealthy freedman who served Emperor Nero, and it was in Nero's Rome, one of the most decadent, violent periods in history, that Epictetus learned his first lesson. The broken leg. There's a story, perhaps legend, perhaps truth, about how Epictetus became permanently disabled. His master was twisting his leg as punishment. Epictetus calmly said, "You will break my leg." His master continued. The leg broke. Epictetus's response, "I told you that you would break it." No screaming, no begging, no anger. This is the moment that defines Stoicism. His master had complete control over his body, but his master had zero control over his mind. The first principle. From this brutal experience, Epictetus discovered what would become his life's teaching. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. Your body? Not in your control, it can be broken. Your circumstances? Not in your control, you can be enslaved. Your mind? Completely in your control, it can never be chained. Modern application. Think about your life right now. What are you worried about? Someone's opinion of you? Not in your control. Whether you get that job? Not in your control. The economy, politics, the weather? Not in your control. Your response to all of these? Completely in your control. Epictetus, a slave with a broken leg, understood this. What's your excuse? Chapter 2. Freedom in Chains. Eventually, Epictetus was freed. We don't know exactly how or why, but here's the paradox. He was freer as a slave who understood philosophy than most free men who didn't. The school of Epictetus. After gaining his freedom, Epictetus opened a school in Nicopolis, Greece. Students came from across the Roman Empire to learn from a crippled former slave. What did he teach them? Lesson 1. You are not your circumstances. Epictetus would ask his students, "Who are you?" Most would answer, "I am a Roman citizen. I am a senator's son. I am wealthy." Wrong answers, Epictetus would say. These are roles. These are circumstances. These can be taken from you. You are your capacity to choose. You are your ability to respond. You are your character. Lesson 2. Desire only what you can control, he taught. Do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well. This sounds like giving up, doesn't it? It's not. It's the opposite. Most people make themselves miserable by wanting things outside their control. I want that person to love me. I want to be famous. I want to never face hardship. Epictetus said, want virtue, want good character, want to respond well to whatever happens. These are completely within your control. The coffee cup exercise. Epictetus used this teaching method. He'd give a student an expensive cup and say, enjoy this cup, but know that it can break at any moment. When you're at peace with its impermanence, you truly enjoy it. One day, the cup would break. If the student was upset, Epictetus would say, see, you weren't prepared. You loved something fragile as if it were permanent. Modern application, everything in your life is that cup. Your job, your relationships, your health, your possessions. Enjoy them fully, but hold them loosely, because attachment to what you cannot control is suffering. Chapter 3. The teachings that changed an empire. Epictetus never wrote anything himself. Like Socrates, his teachings were recorded by a student, in this case Aurelius, who wrote the Discourses and the Enchiridion. These texts made their way across the Roman Empire, and one person who studied them obsessively was a young prince named Marcus Aurelius. From slave to emperor's teacher. Marcus Aurelius never met Epictetus. He died when Marcus was young. But Marcus wrote in his Meditations, "From Rusticus, I learned to read carefully and not be satisfied with a superficial understanding of a book. This was how I was introduced to Epictetus's Discourses." Think about that, the most powerful man in the world, studying the words of a former slave. Why? Because Epictetus understood something that wealth and power can never teach. True freedom comes from within. The three disciplines of Epictetus. The discipline of desire, want only what you can control. The discipline of action, act with virtue in every situation. The discipline of assent, choose your responses to external events. These three disciplines became the foundation of Stoic practice, and they're just as relevant today. Epictetus on death. When students asked Epictetus about death, he said, "I cannot escape death, but can I not escape the fear of it?" He taught them to practice, daily. I am going to die, my loved ones are going to die. This is nature. Fighting it is like fighting gravity. Modern application. When you worry, ask Epictetus's question, "Is this within my control?" If yes, make a plan and act. If no, accept it and focus on what you can control. Your response. This simple question eliminates 90% of anxiety. Chapter 4. The Final Test. In 93 AD, Emperor Domitian expelled all philosophers from Rome. Epictetus, old and crippled, had to leave his school and start over. Did he complain? Did he rage against the injustice? No, he simply moved to Nicopolis and continued teaching. Why? Because exile was not in his control. His response to exile was, "The student who cried." There's a story of a student who came to Epictetus in tears. His father was dying and he couldn't be there. Epictetus asked, "Is it within your control whether your father lives or dies?" No. Is it within your control to honor him with your character and live the life he would be proud of? Yes. Then stop crying about what you cannot control and act on what you can. This sounds harsh to modern ears, but it's not cruelty, it's liberation. Epictetus's death. We don't know exactly when or how Epictetus died. There are no monuments to him, no grand tomb. He died as he lived, simply, without fanfare. But his ideas, they're immortal. The Handbook for Life. Before he died, his students compiled his teachings into the Enchiridion, a handbook small enough to carry in your pocket. It begins, "Some things are up to us, and some are not up to us." That's it. That's the secret. Everything else is commentary. Modern application. Carry this question with you. Is this up to me? When you're stuck in traffic, is this up to me? No. Then accept it. When someone is rude, is this up to me? No. But your response is, when you fail at something, is this up to me? Yes. Learn from it and try again. This one question from a 2,000-year-old slave will change your life. Chapter 5. The Legacy. Epictetus never sought fame. He never wrote a bestseller. He never built an empire. Yet today, Rinci teachings are studied at Harvard and West Point. Navy SEALs read the Enchiridion before deployment. Prisoners use his philosophy to find freedom behind bars. CEOs quote him in boardrooms. Athletes use his principles to perform under pressure. Why? Because Epictetus solved the fundamental human problem. How do you find peace in a world you cannot control? The Stoic freedom. Epictetus taught that there are three types of people: the enslaved, those controlled by external circumstances; the partially free, those who sometimes remember they have choice; the truly free, those who understand that nothing external can affect their character. He spent his entire life as a legal slave, yet he was freer than the emperors who owned slaves. His final teaching: don't explain your philosophy, Embody it. Epictetus didn't talk about courage while sitting comfortably. He demonstrated it with a broken leg. He didn't write about acceptance from a palace. He practiced it in chains. He didn't teach freedom theoretically. He lived it while enslaved. The question he leaves us: if a crippled slave in ancient Rome could find complete freedom, what's stopping you? You have rights he never had, resources he never dreamed of, opportunities he couldn't imagine. Yet he was free. Are you? Epictetus's life teaches us the ultimate paradox. External freedom means nothing without internal freedom, and internal freedom is available to anyone, anywhere, anytime. You could be scumwrote. In prison, like James Stockdale, who used Epictetus's teachings to survive torture. In poverty, like Epictetus himself. In pain, physical or emotional. In circumstances you never chose. And you can still be free, because freedom isn't about your circumstances, it's about your response to them. The 3 questions Epictetus wants you to ask: is this in my control? Am I responding with virtue? Am I accepting what I cannot change? That's it. A philosophy so simple, a slave could practice it, so powerful an emperor studied it. Your next step. Today, when something bothers you, ask, is this up to me? If no, accept it. If yes, act on it. This simple practice, from a man who had every reason to be bitter but chose wisdom instead, can change everything. Remember, you were not born to be controlled by circumstances. You were born to be free, and as Epictetus proved, chains can hold your body, but nothing can chain your mind. Thank you.